What's going on, everybody? My name is AJ Capasso. I'm here with Talking with the Source. I'm here with my good friend. Hold on one sec. Don't turn around yet. Oh, you turned around too soon. I had you off the screen. Oh, man.
Oh, you asshole. I had the curtain already. Look.
I know. That was perfect.
Oh man. See, you can't tell me. I try, AJ. I try and teach you these things, and you just don't listen.
The problem was I clicked the button add to stream. You didn't go to stream right away. It highlighted it. You know, I don't have my mouse. I'm sorry. Anyway, on a better note, I want to first give a shout out right now. I want to give a shout out to right now we are live on Parapost Network on Facebook and Parapost Network 2. Also, we are live on the Paranormal United Network, Paralinks Plus it's called. So, you know, join us over there on Facebook. We also are a part of Global Ghost Hunt. If you've never heard of Global Ghost Hunt is basically where a bunch of teams from around the globe get together and we stream their live overnight investigation at the select haunted location of their choice. And it was an awesome event in May. We have another one coming up in October. So if you have a team or you want to register, head over to www.globalghosthunt.com.
Sign up.
Yeah, sign up. But anyway, we have an awesome guest today. She is absolutely amazing. Can't wait to bring her on. Her name is Jennifer Gaylord. So we're going to bring her on right now. Hey, Jen, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So before we begin, I just want you to give the viewers and everyone just a little bit of background about yourself and a little bit about what you've done in life, you know?
How long do we have?
I know, right?
Yeah. So I call myself an inspirational psychic medium. What exactly that is I like to help people get back on their path. So a lot of people right now are kind of awakening to this new earth, or the energies that are moving and swirling around all of us right now, in that there are so many more truths that are coming to light about the path that we walk. A lot of relationships are ending. People, I feel, are starting to leave the earth again. There's another round of people that are checking out from this time and space because the energies are so dramatically different. There's a lot of more pressure on people, a lot more opportunities for us to kind of heal through our traumas or release the things that we're carrying that no longer serve us for our best and highest good. So I work with people one-on-one in an hour or 90-minute sessions inside of my store, which is a crystal shop in Central Connecticut in Durham. It's called the Borrowed Time Emporium. I do have some crystals with me today that I'd love to talk about if we have the opportunity to do that. But for me personally, growing up as an empath, I started with dreams. So around 10 or 11, I would have dreams that would come true. And about the age of 12, I had a dream about my brother getting into a car accident. Actually, multiple things happened to the same car on the same day with him. And when that later came true, it freaked me out. I just shut it down. It was just too overwhelming. Because what are you going to do? Tell him, hey, I had a dream that you're going to have all these accidents on a Tuesday. I don't know what month. I don't know where. And he wouldn't believe me anyway. So after that, kind of kept it quiet for a while. And then after I had my son when I was young. He was born when I turned right about a month before when I turned 21. And more stuff started to happen where I would start to see things happen before they took place. Kind of like I used to say it was like a movie trailer. So you could see a story playing out on the sidebar in your imaginarium, I like to call it. And then later it would happen, or it would be like a potential destiny line, let's call it. that was kind of scary. But as time went on, I worked in the corporate arena for probably 25 years, specifically in construction. For most of my background is in that. I grew up with a father who was a contractor and was out there banging nails when I was 12 years old, like my brothers, trying to keep up with them. And so being in the corporate community, I started to kind of dabble a little bit into playing with the oracle cards and checking in with people and going to psychic fairs where people would challenge me to see if I could connect with their loved ones. And then more of that started to open. And I would say, fast forward another 20 years or so, I decided to jump off the corporate cliff and move into my own gig. So that's when I opened my store about 5 years ago. Now I do it full time. So I help people, like I said, get back on their path, but I do it in an inspirational way. It's not, I understand that there's positive and negative and there's darkness and there's light. Everybody has shadow work to do. I get that, but I'm a light worker and that's where I roll. That's kind of where I walk. So I like to help people kind of illuminate their path and get themselves back to who they are, because most of us forget. We lose ourselves in relationships or in our jobs or careers or family or events happen or whatnot. We kind of get lost and go down the rabbit hole. So I like to help people, give them kind of a hand up and get them back on the path.
Nice. Nice. I totally know what you mean about the dream stuff, because I had that too growing up. Like I had certain dreams. Like I had a dream about that crazy tsunami that happened in Japan. Like when I was younger. Yeah, like I had a dream that I was on the beach and we were walking out, like, because the water receded so much that the fish were flopping. So we walked out, and then all of a sudden somebody screamed, and you just saw this wave coming, and we just started to run. And the next minute I know, while I passed the palm tree or like whatever kind of tree that was on the beach that over there, I literally like turned around and looked, and I saw the water, and then I woke up, and that was the thing I remembered. And just so much anxiety, and then it happened the next day. But what it ended up progressing to was, now I'll get these type of knowings where it's like out of nowhere, where it's like I don't need to be asleep. I'll just get this either like anxiety or feeling and just know. Like it's really weird. It's a really weird. I don't even know how to describe it, but I know you know what I mean.
Absolutely. It's kind of freaky until you get used to it. Then it becomes your norm. So then you kind of look at other people and understand why how come they didn't see that coming? How come nobody knew that was going to happen? Because it becomes our baseline. It becomes a thing that we do on a normal day-to-day basis. That's what a lot of
it comes under premonitions, doesn't it?
Say again, please.
It comes under premonitions, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
The intuition, any of that inner knowingness, all the clairs, the clairaudience and clairsentience, like people that tap into the different clairs that can hear or smell or taste when spirit is near. A lot of that is all connected. It's all through your third eye, which is one of the chakras that it helps you to kind of open up more to that world and kind of explore and experiment and see. And that's kind of like when you were talking earlier, AJ, about taking Reiki, learning about that. A lot of people open up to their own version of shamanism. I mean, shamanism is a very widely used word now. Most people historically believe that someone who is a shaman is just a Native American individual that has medicine, when in fact a shaman is in every religion, and that's a person that's a healer that can walk both sides. So one side is in the human, in this third dimension, kind of lower vibrational energy, and the other side is in the spiritual realm. Someone who's a shaman can kind of walk between both worlds. Basically, they can be on one side and on the other.
Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, see, I didn't know any of that, really, to be honest. Like, so that was great to find out.
Sure, well, that's how you learn.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's why I love having guests on like yourself, because it opens up just a variety of things for my work in the paranormal and certain research that I do with spirit communication work. And it just like gives me so many questions that I can ask spirit, and it just helps this work. And it's just great to be able to, go back and forth with people like yourself. So
I think there's a lot more people out there now that are kind of literally just falling out of bed on the floor and connecting with spirit and not realizing that they were doing it all along. It's kind of like this collective awakening, or maybe an ascension, mass ascension. I don't even know what to call it, but I see it all the time in the store.
Yeah, no, I've been seeing it all over the internet, all over like, in social medias and stuff. Like every short video has something to do with a spiritual aspect now. It's just like absolutely crazy. They're talking about Kundalini energy. They're talking about like all these different amazing things. That it's like, where were you 10 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I remember when I began this work, you had to like hush and not say anything because you would have been locked up in a loony bin. You know what I mean? And it's like, now
that's exactly it, AJ, though. That's exactly it, because years ago, we wouldn't have been believed if we'd have said, "Oh, we feel it or we see that." It wasn't widely believed back then. It was like, if you seen that and you told your parents, They'd be like, go and play with your toys. You know what I mean? It was like, whereas now it's more widely.
Absolutely. People are so much more open to the I like to call it the truth. They're more open to the truth that this experience is not, it's not what we think it is. We're souls that are crammed into this physical body. This is like the truck that we drive around in. Our physical body is the vehicle that carries our soul around. So we don't end, we continue perpetually.
It's so crazy that you said about the ascension, though, of like what's going on around us, because not only is it happening with the younger generation too, and like like I said, all over the internet and stuff like that, you'll see it, but you see us as human beings, as a race, like as a whole being, opening up to other things as well. Like it's all around us, like in political stuff, like political aspects. Like you see people waking up and noticing now, like little things that they didn't notice, like 5-10 years ago, like about little what the news and media portray to us and certain things. And I think that seeing that, and I think like us being more aware as a whole, I wonder if it is definitely raising that consciousness energy of the of the earth and of us. You know what I mean?
I think it absolutely is. A lot of people are finding their way back to the truth, and however it is that you look at that, I don't watch the news. I don't watch television because there's nothing in it. There's nothing I need to know. If I need to know if the world's going to end, well, then I'll find out when I see everybody back at home, or But from the most part, I think a lot of people are they're starting to realize that the world as we knew it is not nearly what we thought it was. It's kind of like the big reveal, or we're all taking our glasses off and looking around, going, "Oh, dang." Or geez, if I say something really mean to you, or if I'm hurtful to you, I'm really hitting myself because it's coming from a place of my own. I'm projecting my stuff onto you. That's what we see a lot in the energy field, where if somebody has their own inner wound, or there's a truth that they believe that freaks them out or makes them insecure, they're going to attack another person from that same place. It's sitting in that same space and trying to give it to someone else.
So now, as you being, actually, Rob, you want to ask a question quick? Because
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I'm contently listening.
Okay, like helping people and doing your medium work and that kind of stuff. Did it start off like you said with the dreams, or was there other aspects too that were with you during that time, like other signs?
I recall when I was 13 or 14, my grandfather was very sick with leukemia, and he came up for a visit because they lived in Arkansas. I grew up in Connecticut. I've always been here. And I remember he was getting ready to leave, and I had to say goodbye to him. And I wrote this little story about how I was never going to see him again, that he was going to die, that was going to be the end of his experience, and not understanding in my brain what that really meant until years later when I reread it and went, oh, wow. And then he did. So I knew that I wasn't going to see him again. Again, that was right around the time where I kind of shut it down a little bit. But as time went on, I started to communicate with my grandparents who were on the other side, started to hear their voices and talk to my family a little bit about it. But everybody was kind of like, okay, doing like they're right, if you say so kind of thing initially, because I wasn't very confident about it. But there was an incident, I want to say in the early 2000s, where I was working at a construction company at the time, and one of the guys that was a foreman, who was, I want to say in early 40s, really healthy, fit kind of guy. We got a call in the office that someone had a heart attack at, I think it was a Home Depot down somewhere. I think it was in Bridgeport or somewhere down along the shore there. And we thought, oh my God, we got to go get the truck, because they had a company truck. We got to go get the truck, find out what's going on. We go down there. I'm inside the Home Depot demanding to talk to the manager, like giving this guy, I'm giving it to him because he's looking at me like I have four heads. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, the truck's right there. Where's the guy that had the heart attack? Where is he? I'm sorry, ma'am. There's no one. And the other guy, one of the guys that was with me, had to get me out of there because I was starting to lose my mind. Like, where's our guy? Like, what happened? And anyway, it ended up being their whole other backstory around that, where it didn't take place there, and there was some other shenanigans afoot in the background. But I ended up getting in his truck and driving it back to Central Connecticut. We were in Newington at the time. And as I was driving it back, I'm yelling at him. I'm having this conversation with him, like, what the hell's wrong with you? What's going on? Why, blah, blah, blah. Having this full-blown conversation, not knowing he was gone. He died in a different place. But I'm driving in the truck, and I would have sworn to you, sitting right next to me, I'm yelling at him as I'm driving, like all PO'd, like, what the hell? And I still don't know if the case has been solved to this day, but that was really the beginning where I understood that conversation wasn't just my own internal monkey mind, chattering with me, that this was someone that was a spirit that was actually there. So most people think that someone's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, my name's Bill. I belong to AJ. I'm his uncle. It doesn't work that way. It's just a conversation that kind of floats in. When you open your channel, a conversation comes in and information flows. Sometimes it's pictures. Sometimes it's words. Sometimes it's funny phrases. Sometimes it's a weird routine or ritual that people had. Sometimes it's information about an animal, a bird, or whatever might be the thing that person's trying to use to connect with their loved one.
The pictures and words is the way I get it.
Yeah. Does it play a story sometimes?
It does. Yeah, it's like they're telling you in your head. They're explaining to you what's going on, but at the same time, it's like someone has a load of photographs and they're just showing one, and then they're showing another one, and then you're trying to sort of piece them together. But when you're piecing them together, you're also hearing what they're saying, so it's easier to do it that way. Yeah. That's the way I do it.
I think a lot of people struggle with that because they don't trust it. They don't trust that what they're getting is not theirs. There's not like an overlap between their own internal dictionary versus what the spirit is saying. Or sometimes the spirits will tell you some stuff that's really out in left field that you're kind of like going, oh my God, you really want me to say that? And then you realize that that's a thing that is very important to the person that you're sitting with.
It's not necessarily going to happen there and then. It could be something that happens like down the line a little bit, or it could be something that happened quite far back. People always seem to think that it has to be something that's like relevant there and then. And it's not always that way.
That's absolutely correct. Correct. I like to explain to people that anybody who does the work, whether they're a psychic or they're a mediumship or any sort of reader, is always drawing on their own personal experience. Sometimes you'll see something that means something to you as part of the way that you translate the story for the person that's coming through, the spirit that's coming through from the other side. They might show you pictures, or there might be someone in your loved one collection that's on the other side, and it may be something that happened to them. The reason that they transition might be the common thread between this person as well. Now, I don't know about you, but I felt it. There's a physical mediumship component to me as well that I've just started really working with. But a lot of times when someone really wants to make an impact, they'll come through with whatever the means was that took them off of this earthly plane, which sometimes isn't very pleasant, to be honest. Yeah. But it's a split second, just quickly enough that you get the impression so that you understand, like what Robin was saying, like that moment where the picture or the story kind of brings itself together in front of you so that you can sense, know, experience, to share with that individual so they know exactly that you're connecting with their person. That's a big deal.
I feel like you just did that, Robin, on this episode thing we just tried. We just put together.
Well, yeah. What it actually is, AJ Lo, when I do that, especially with that house, right? It's like when I went in, I walked in. Obviously, the door was busted in. The whole house was open. But when I went in, it was like a force field, right? Like a force field of energy. And it was like when you went in, at first you actually bounced off that. You had to force your way through that. But when you got through that, it was like, right, so you want to listen then. So you want to hear and you want to see, well, here it is. And then they start showing you. So it's nearly as if they're like, the force field is nearly like, are you sure you really want to hear this? Are you sure? And then once you push through that, it's like, right, okay, then here goes. And then it just all comes. And that was as soon as I walked in. That wasn't even, sometimes I have to be in there for a bit before that happens, but that was as soon as I walked in there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. I like it when
it was pretty cool. Yeah.
It doesn't normally come that quick.
It must have been someone that needed to have something, they had a big message to get through or something, right? For them to be that dramatic for you?
Yeah, it was just, it was. I can't even explain it really. It's long-winded, isn't it, AJ? It's long-winded. It was an old man. It was an old man that lived there, and he was telling me the whole story as to what happened, but he was following me around at the same time. So no matter where I went in the house, he was behind me, just like watching me, where I was going and stuff like that. But when I went up to the upper levels, he wasn't speaking then. He was just following. It's when I came back down to the lower level, it was a living room. It had nothing in it. It was all parts of the roof and all that fell in, but there was one armchair sitting there, and that was his armchair. And once you went into that room, that's when he started speaking, and he couldn't get him to stop. He had to come out of the room. He had to time out,
Wow. Wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty
see,
cool.
it's weird. Like, I have a question for you. For me, like, I have like certain things happen where like, how do I explain this? Okay, so I'll just tell you the experience. Like one of the examples. So recently, like about a year ago, I was over at my friend's house, and we're talking, and his brother came in, and his brother was fighting with his girlfriend, and all of a sudden, before I left, I got this very sick feeling again, like this anxiety feeling. I started sweating profusely, and I got this image in my head where something bad was going to happen to him, like for some reason, his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to him before I left, I said, hey, listen, check on him because something bad is going to happen today. I don't know what it is, and I'm sorry to say this to you. Just trust me on this. So I leave, and about 45 minutes after I left, my friend gets up. Something makes him get up to go get a beer, and something clicks in his mind. I got to check on my brother real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his room was silent. He heard some gargling noise. He breaks open the door, and his brother had snuck in 3 bags of heroin and relapsed and ended up overdosing. He was overdosing as he came into the room. If my friend didn't come into the room when he did, his brother would have died that day, but his brother lived, and they ended up getting into the hospital and all this stuff like that. He ended up getting out of the hospital. He's good. He's alive. He's fine. But and he's back to himself. He's not doing drugs, thank God. But it was crazy like that. I just had this knowing. And same thing happened when my father and me were on the highway, and literally he had a stroke like on the highway. He started seizing.
No.
And I saw it before we got on the highway, and I said to him, I don't want to get on the highway. Something bad's going to happen. And literally right before we got home, right on the highway, he seized up, and I just knew what to do. I pulled the car over while he was seizing up, and I just knew what to do in the moment. But the thing is, for me, why is it always something like that, where like sometimes I feel like it's a gift, but then sometimes I feel like, man, this is kind of like a curse almost, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting all this type of stuff, like, whereas, it's not really the best in my opinion.
Well, maybe that's what your gift is. Maybe that your gift is to see that version of it before it happens, to prevent or to help people to be open to that. Some people can't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. That's why I walk around telling everybody I'm a light worker. I understand there's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You couldn't get me into one of your haunted houses. You couldn't pay me enough money to do that. No interest in that. I would rather be helping somebody connect with their loved one that crossed over, that moment when the person, when that emotion comes through and they click and they make the connection and they can release that grief or release the guilt that they didn't say the thing, or that they didn't say they love the person, or whatever that stuff is that people carry around, and that ugliness of grief, when that they have that moment where they let it go. That's my work. That's what makes it all worth it, to see that person just have that relief, have the relief.
Yeah.
See, what we were talking about, AJ, a little while ago about the premonition side of it, I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. And you know that I get it because I've told you a few times. But again, it's always bad stuff. I don't know if you remember back a few years ago, but there was a plane that crashed in the French Alps. It was a plane was flying from Spain to Germany.
Who's going to remember that? Who's going to remember that?
Well,
I don't remember that.
Told you about it.
No, I'm just joking. I had to get him. Go ahead.
I'm gonna use one of your lines. You're an ass.
Yeah, I know, right? Here we go.
No, but I had a feeling a couple of days before this that something was going to happen with the plane. That's all I had. Now, who's going to listen to me? You know what I mean? Even my own parents would call me insane for saying that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Something's going to happen with the plane somewhere in the world. I don't know where, but somewhere. And lo and behold, the pilot crashed the plane into the mountains a couple of days later.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
yeah, if you look up, the plane was called German Wings. It was flying from Barcelona to, I want to say, Dusseldorf in Germany. I'm not sure. But if you look it up anyway, German Wings plane crashed in the French Alps. It was literally about 2 days before that happened. And I remember saying to, I think it was Julie at the time, I remember saying, something's going to happen somewhere with the plane soon.
Wow.
You know, everybody's like,
it's unfortunate not enough information for you to be able to do anything with it in advance. It's in
exactly.
hindsight.
But what can you do? What can you do? You start ringing every single airport around the world. You better check your pilots.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about like kind of reinforcing that relationship. Whether you work with spirit guides or if you work with your own team on the other side. I don't know who you work with, but it may be to ask that question because you're in the business of doing paranormal research and you're looking around. You're going into places specifically looking for that energy. That's maybe the darker energy, and that's why you're getting the gift that's connected with that. So I'm a firm believer that whatever it is that you want is what's going to show up for you. Whatever the law of attraction, whatever you're putting out there is what's going to come back. So if you're expecting that today's going to suck, you're going to have a shitty traffic day or whatever, then guess what? You're going to hit traffic everywhere versus, hey man, I'm kind of running a little late. I want all green lights and bink, bink, bink. They're green all the way through. It's your belief.
Well, I know personally, whenever I've got to have a day where I've got to speak to AJ for anything, it's going to be a shitty day. So.
Yeah, it's just I'm one of those things you could just sense.
That's that one there.
You got me back. Wait, one thing I want to ask you though is as a medium, someone who has this inspirational mediumship, what crystals do you use or gemstones do you use to help you? Do you use any to help you? Because I know you have a couple with you. You said you wanted to share, and I'd love for you to share.
Yeah, I've got some little demos here. So obsidian is a stone that you can't really see.
There we go, right there.
It's a black stone. This is like you can't see any of the sheen in it, unfortunately, because the lighting's weird. But obsidian is a stone that's great for protection. So this is one that people like to take in your line of work when you're going into a property or you're going into a place where you're doing an investigation to protect your own energy field so that you're not getting zapped of any of that. So that's one that I have handy. I have this. I wish I had my black light, but this is another piece of amber. This is a big, beautiful piece of amber. The black light would show it illuminate as blue, which is a little more uncommon. Usually it shows up as green or purple. If you ever have the opportunity to look at amber, amber is really good for cleansing. It helps to clear your energy field. It's great for blood detoxifying too if you carry amber with you. And interestingly enough, what's coming back now, a trend that's coming back around is amber teething rings for babies because it's antibacterial. It's not going to get dirty and gross from a bunch of baby spittle. My favorite, actually, where is it? This one.
AJ, you could chew on one of them.
Right? I could chew on one of them.
So selenite is my favorite. Selenite is it's a beautiful stone. It's a gypsum product, so it's very soft, scratches easily, and it's water soluble. But this, I have a sphere in the store, and anybody that has come into my store can tell you stories about that sphere. It started out as to show people how soft the stone was. The one I'm holding doesn't have an impact crater on it, but the one in the store has like a big, a big indent in the bottom where somebody dropped it. So it started out as, well, hey, this is a cool stone that you can see how soft it is, but oh, by the way, you can hold it to clear your auric field. So if somebody comes in, I have them hold it if they don't understand what grounding your energy means, which is basically that you're just clearing your auric bubble. I tease my dog, who's sound asleep over there. Usually he's in the pool with me, but when he goes out into the rain, the first thing he does when he comes back in is shakes off the water. But you and I don't do that. We don't clear our auric bubble. So that auric bubble, if we imagine it looks like soap, like a big soap bubble, we go through our day-to-day interactions with other people, some positive, some maybe not so much. Those interactions are like little pieces of lint. If we remember them and replay them or repeat them later, it's a little piece of lint that sticks to that soap bubble. And after a period of time, if you're not grounding that energy, you're going to get kind of clogged up. You get like brain fog, or you forget things, or you're feeling kind of dopey or whatever until you do something to clear the energetic bubble. This is like a shortcut. It's like a shortcut, a cheat for that. So people that aren't familiar with grounding, I have them hold it. And what happened over a period of time is now they're holding it. As soon as a person holds this sphere, it opens up their auric space so I can step in it. And I immediately pick up on any physical issues that they have. They have a sore knee or an achy elbow or even like a sore wrist. Sometimes I'll feel like a tingling, like if you're standing outside in the rain, that's how I know that their energy bubble is clearing. Sometimes I'll get more energetic stuff that I can translate to them. So then they understand that, well, geez, this is cool little stone here, but there's actually some power to that because it's helping to ground and clear my energy. And what you can do is walk around barefoot. That's a great way to clear your energy. Go outside and hug or put your hand on a tree or spend time in nature. That helps to clear the bubble. But this is a stone that I use. You'll notice it next time you're in the store, AJ. There's a whole wall of it, of lamps and spheres and little hearts and all kinds of selenite stuff. because it's also one that clears and transmutes energy. So if you have crystals in your worlds, you can use selenite to clear and recharge those crystals. You don't have to wait for the moonlight to put them under the moonlight, unless you want to, which a lot of witchy people like to do that. They like to put the crystals under the full moon to recharge them, or the new moon, or whatever. Yeah. But I have thousands of them in my store. I can't roll them outside underneath the moon. So I use my selenite, or I'll do what I need to do to help to clear and cleanse them. But this is my go-to. This is like go-to number one is the selenite, because it's such a powerful, magnificent stone. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have a very dear friend who's Moroccan, and that's where all my selenite comes from. So I get a great deal on it, and I can pass it along to everyone that comes in the store. That's number one. Number two is rose quartz. Anybody that knows crystals knows this stone. Yep. It's a pretty pink stone. It can be dark pink, light pink. Sometimes it's almost washed out super because it bleaches easily in the sun, just like a fluorite will. But rose quartz is all about unconditional love, and that's for yourself and for other people around you. That's a lot of what we forget to focus on when we're doing our work, is to put ourselves first, take care of self-care, self-love, but unconditional love, especially when someone is grieving. In my line of work, a lot of people that come to a medium are coming because they want to connect with someone who's on the other side. And grieving is an opportunity for them to heal the wounds that they're holding on to, when the people that have left the earth have left all that stuff behind. There's nothing that goes with you. There's no luggage rack on top of a hearse. Nothing goes with you except for the experiences that you've had in your heart. That's it. That's
the best analogy right there. That was perfect. Like no luggage in your hearse. I like that. Quote for Gaylord. No luggage.
You just picture a girl coming out with a suitcase strapped on top of it.
Right?
You can't take it with you. Another one, another cool one is fluorite. So fluorite's another stone that a lot of people recognize that are in the crystal community. It's not showing a lot of green here, but fluorite will come in a green, purple, blue. Sometimes it's what they call rainbow fluorite, which I think is a bunch of hogwash. In the crystal world, they'll call it rainbow fluorite because it has that striping in there, which technically it's a better quality, but they call it rainbow fluorite to charge more money, which is not the right thing to do. So this fluorite is great for the third eye. That's like we were talking about. It's wonderful for intuition. It helps with focus and concentration. It's really popular for the younger set that I have. I get a lot of college kids, high school kids, even some middle schoolers that come into the store that are looking for something to help them with their tests. This one's good for concentration and focus.
Now, wait, I have a question. Like, how do you use these crystals? Because a lot of people know, like, I have a crystal, but how do we use them?
So most people that are crystal junkies, let's call them, or crystal people, will either wear the crystal on their beingness, whether it's a necklace or a bracelet or even a ring, sometimes the earrings or whatever. There's a lot of tumbled stones or flat stones that people will carry in their pockets. And believe it or not, there's a lot of women out there that carry them in the side of their bra. They carry the stones if they don't have pockets to carry them in. They carry them in the side of the bra. So because they believe the power of the crystals will help them with whatever it is they're working on. Now, another one I want to talk about that I think is a big deal is a clear quartz. So clear quartz is known as the stone of power. This is a really nice piece. It's a nice pointed piece, but I pair this with other stones, and I always tell people not to just use the clear quartz by itself, because clear quartz is a badass in the crystal world. It will amplify energy. So if you have a clear quartz and you're carrying it around, and that's that same day that we were talking about before, where you're running late and you're having a crappy day, it's going to amplify that energy.
One time I was meditating twice a day for like almost 2 years straight. And I got to a point, where I had that, clear quartz in my pocket, and it literally started to hurt my leg. And I didn't know what it was at first. And I took the clear quartz out, and then it stopped. So I put it in my jacket pocket near my heart. Didn't realize my heart started to bother me like really badly. Wow. And I had to take it out of my thing. Like, I got so sensitive. I said to my father, I'm like, I held it in my hand. I'm like, feel this. It's vibrating. Can you not feel the vibration? And he put it in his hand, and he threw it back at me. He's like, you are stupid. What are you even talking about?
You're losing your mind.
Yeah. He's like, you're losing your mind, dude. Like, chill out. You're doing too much drugs or something,
Well, what happens is you're activating the stone. So sometimes you'll find a stone that a lot of people believe everything is vibrational frequency, right? Everything is frequency. Yeah. And even the crystals, think about how they were created. They're created inside of the core of the earth, and there's pressure and all kinds of chemicals and minerals and things that interact that create these things. And there are people that find that stone, like that one that just is like their stone that they hold on to. And you can heat it up, you can activate it with your own energetic signature, with your own energetic vibration. That stone you connect with. Some people will tell you that there's this one stone I have in my collection that's, I'm never going to let it go because this is my stone or whatever, but they carry it with them everywhere. There's a lot of people that connect that way. I have one of my customers, his name is Steve, that comes in a lot of times, and he'll either hold a stone that and it will get so hot that you and I can barely touch it, or conversely, it might be something that gets ice cold. It's just, that's how he is. He connects with the stones in a different way. So it could be that you activated that particular piece of quartz.
Yeah, that was wild. It was so wild. I couldn't believe it. I mean, at that point though, I was, focused on, I use binaural beats. Do you know what binaural beats are? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I love them. And that helps me get into the altered, state of consciousness. And that helped me open my third eye and stuff like that. Like, got to a point where I was seeing like flash images just in front of my eyes closed. And then I saw my room with my eyes shut, like completely clear, like I had my eyes open. I couldn't believe it. And I started to meditate recently again because I stopped for a long time after, for some reason, I don't know why I did, but, I noticed myself more in tune with spirit when I was meditating more than, when I wasn't.
So you're raising your energetic vibration. So when we think about the third dimension, which is where we are in our humanness, that's where we're sitting in these chairs and we have to, I don't know, eat and pay bills and do all those other fun things versus that fifth dimension, the 2 layers up, which is where we're in spirit land. And that's where all things are wonderful and feel delicious and fabulous and nothing hurts and everything's great. When we do the work, we're up in that realm. And then we have to come back down here to pay the bills or feed the dog or whatever, back to this lower vibrational place. And we kind of go back and forth between one and another. But sometimes people that do the work that we do, they get to that higher vibrational place, they don't want to leave. And those are the ones who all of a sudden they're bankrupt or their house gets foreclosed. And then they're like, well, I don't know how that just happened because we're up here vibrating in this higher space and feeling better about whatever it was that we were doing at that particular time.
So Jennifer, tell me something. See these crystals that you're showing now. Obviously, you sell all them in the shop. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Now, do you also ship them out? Like, say if someone like me wants to buy a couple of them. I mean, I don't know over here at the minute where there is any shops that sell that kind of stuff. There obviously is. But say I wanted to order from your shop. Do you like ship across seas or?
I currently don't, but you probably could talk me into doing that. I'd have to figure that out, how to do it, because the way that I do it is I do kind of flat rate shipping for within the United States. So there's just price points for shipping. I don't have all my stuff weighed, which is what I would need to do to ship internationally so that when the order went through, we'd have to weigh it and come up with a price. Honestly, don't even know what it's like to ship across the ocean anymore, if it's crazy like it used to be. But I have probably about 4,000 items currently in my catalog that are on the website. The majority of them are not in my store. And there are quite a few of these larger specimens that I have when I have a crystal show 2 or 3 times a year. So I usually have one at the space where my store is inside the sanctuary, which is a very large room. I have about 15 different tables of the larger specimens there and some of the smaller ones too, of things that people like the most. So no, I could look into that. If I could figure out how to do it in such a way that you could put your order in and then we could weigh it, kind of like put it on hold and weigh it, what it would cost to do it. But yeah, we could look into that for sure. Absolutely.
We'll also put it on our social media if we find out too. Up there too, is to get more people from other countries, because we have a lot of people that do watch from Belgium and all these other places too. So neat. Maybe people would be interested.
I think you'd be surprised at how many crystal people are out there. There's a lot of people. Even the littles now. The little ones come into the store, little 4, 5, 6-year-olds, and go right up to the boards. I have these big pegboards in the store with all the crystals alphabetized in there, and the little ones go right up and they pick one up for their parents and just give it to them. And it's the message that they needed for whatever reason. The kids know because they're coming in now. They're coming in here to fix all this stuff. They're coming here to fix this place.
Tell us what tell us what you guys offer over at your store, because your store is an amazing place. That's how I met you. I recently went in there, and I live literally, like I was telling you, 3 houses up the street from this place.
Yeah.
So awesome. I got everything right 3 houses next to me, which my gym, my work, and you. So this is absolutely perfect.
Okay, 2 seconds.
You offer. Yeah, go ahead, my friend. Tell me what, or tell everyone like what you offer at the store.
So the store itself, so the Red Barn in Durham is a 10,000 square foot collaborative building where there are about 18 different independent businesses that operate inside under the umbrella of the Red Barn in Durham LLC. 2 of those spaces are open to the public. One of those spaces is my store, the Borrowed Time Emporium, which is where I do my readings in the morning, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. I also offer readings online, over the phone during the week, by appointment. Obviously, people go online and they book their time. Now, the other space is the Soulshine Salt Cavern, which is another business that's downstairs. And that is a salt cavern, which you go and sit in a zero gravity chair and you chillax for 45 minutes and you have all this wonderful relaxation moment in salt. And she has she has a halo generator, which is a medical grade machine that actually grinds up the salt and puts it into the air while you're sitting in that chair. You can have music playing if you want. You can have the lights on, lights off. It seats up to 10. It's a really, really cool space. If you haven't checked it out, next time you're in their barn, go down there and see. I think they're open.
I didn't even know about it.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're open Thursday through Sunday. I don't know the hours off the top of my head. Lisa's going to kill me when she sees this, but it is an amazing place to go. It's where I like to go in. I haven't done it in a while, but I like to teach people how to go on a shamanic journey. And I teach them inside the cave because it's a nice sacred space, easy to open that up and to take people through the paces. So we can do that one of these times. You think you would totally dig that if you're a meditator.
Oh, absolutely.
The other businesses are, let's see, we have a lady that does acupuncture in there. We have an art center downstairs where there's a bunch of art classes for adults and for kids. We also have my friend Stephanie, who is a Reiki master teacher. She does crystal lays on people. She has an amethyst biomat, which is it's a crystal bed made out of amethyst on top of like a table where you lay on it and it heats up, and she'll put crystals on you, or she'll use her gong or do some sound work, whatever she feels called to do. Like, she's an amazing healer. She does that in her space. Then we have Maureen, who does Qigong, which is like a moving meditation. It's like another Chinese type of healing modality. She is off the chart fantastic, this lady. So she teaches people Qigong, but she also will put you on her table, and she takes you through this whole process where she has someone in the background playing her chanting, whatever they're chanting, I forget now. And she goes into your soul space and kind of like does whatever she feels like she needs to do to kind of do a healing. Then we have people there that are therapists. So Janice is the lady who had the original vision to bring everyone to the Red Barn. And she's an LCSW, which is a licensed clinical social worker. But she takes the holistic approach and does more holistic based instead of traditional, which is wonderful. But she's the reason we're all there. She kind of called us all in. Then we have Heather, who's another therapist, and Aaron's another therapist. I'm probably forgetting people, but there's constantly changing people that kind of come in. They rent space and they have office hours and whatnot. And then usually, like, I want to say like every quarter we have a psychic fair. So we have vendors come in, we have psychics. That's coming up on the 23rd of July for anybody that's local that wants to check that out. It's a cool thing to see because everybody's vetted. Nobody just walks in the door and puts up shingle. We have to make sure that they are tested, that they are legit, and they're not just saying that they can do what they do. I usually don't read at those events because I'm having too much fun playing in my crystal shop. Crystals, but I'm handing out my cards. If anybody's interested in doing a reading with me, that's cool. Or taking classes or whatnot. So, but it's a whole experience. Just going into the building is a whole experience. And when there's an event like that where you can come in and kind of meet everybody, that's the best time to go. I mean, Deb will occasionally do. Deb is the lady that does Reiki. She also does tarot card readings. She does. She sends distance Reiki to people that are not local if someone has some health issues and whatnot. But she will coordinate what's called Self-Care Saturday. So we have those, I think, every other month or so, where some of the practitioners that are there will offer shorter sessions, so you can kind of get a sampling of what those things are. So it's a big, huge collaborative environment. We're pretty proud of it. We've been around since 2018. We made it through the pandemic, and a lot of other centers didn't survive it. They didn't get through it because of just the world and how it changed, and everybody had to close and shut down. But we kept going. We keep building and rebuilding, and it's awesome.
I never knew you guys only been there since 2018. I thought you guys were there a lot longer. Wow, that's amazing. But it's so amazing you guys made it through the the pandemic, because a lot of businesses did not, and that's great. I mean, but you know what though? Like I tell you, I think it's because you guys' energy is just absolutely amazing, and you guys attracted some amazing love of the universe on that one. You know what I mean? So I think
you can feel it. You can feel it coming off. You can feel energy coming off you. So.
Yeah, it's the truth, right? When you're in vibrational alignment with where it is that you're supposed to be, and you're doing the thing that you love, you're not working. You're living the dream. You're helping do your part in the world to help other people heal. And we all remember that. That's, I think, what a lot of people are remembering now is that we're all connected. So if I'm not nice to you, it's going to come right back and smack me a whole lot faster now, because that's the world of spirit, and that's how things work. So it makes sense that we're going back to community living and helping one another and doing the right thing. Just do the right thing, man. That's it. That's all we got to do.
Yeah. No,
Exactly.
you're right. Hey, it's just so funny because it's so easy said, and then you see a lot that it's harder to do for some people.
I understand that, and and it does. I believe that it takes time to kind of retrain your brain to focus on things like understanding that law of attraction and focus on the things that you want to invite into your experience. Because if you look at something that's not good or doesn't feel good to you, if you're one of the people that sits in front of the TV and watches the news all day, you're not going to be a happy person, because the news is not on the television to inspire you or uplift you. It's there to scare you and show you things that don't feel good, right?
Exactly. You have like 6 terrible stories, and then you got one that's like, oh, well, the Easter Bunny came today, and at this park. And the next one's like, 3 guys just got shot dead. Like, oh, this is great.
It's not.
So much, stick with the bunnies.
There's a lot of power in somebody going on a news diet, specifically. Like, here's like a 14-day news diet challenge, and just see how different you sleep at night, or see how much different you feel, or go hiking instead, or do whatever. Just get back to you, whatever that looks like. And I think that's what we're collectively moving towards.
You start getting invested and angry at the TV almost. You know what I mean? It's really bad when you start watching it too much. I mean, I could tell you from experience, but I mean, maybe that was me in baseball games, but I don't know. But anyway, besides that point, I tell you, it's absolutely awesome. I didn't know all that stuff was there. Like I said, I only went into the one shop, and I met you, and I didn't know anything about the salt, room and all that kind of stuff. The salt,
the salt cave is really amazing. And there's a lot of them out there. I would be surprised if there wasn't any out your way too, Robin. That there aren't salt caverns.
There probably is. There probably is. It's just that I'm not one that would go necessarily looking for it, or would think to myself, oh, there's a shop that sells crystals here. I just sort of walk around oblivious to it all. There has to be a sign outside that goes, "We sell crystals." You know what I mean? Otherwise, like,
you're not going to notice it. Got it.
Me and Robin, we work with our spirit guides. What you said before, and I have a clip of I asked about crystals, and I asked about, does it help you connect more with us when we're using crystals? And what was so weird is that Spirit came through the spirit box and said, it's you and the crystal, meaning that yes, the crystal can help if you believe in it. Absolutely. But if you don't believe in it, it's not going to help you. So you don't technically need the crystal, but the crystal will help you because you'll have something to hold on to and to believe with. You know what I mean? It's like not just holding on to like a thought or whatever. You actually have something physical to be able to believe in, and it's that vibrational energy from that or whatever they were talking about, which I thought it was really, and I was, it's so funny because you said law of attraction before and all that type of stuff. And, it's definitely like the law of the universe for sure. I definitely 100% agree.
I think you could apply that to anything, whether it's a crystal or if it's wearing like your favorite hat or your power shirt or driving a fancy car versus driving your old reliable one. It's whatever we believe that will help us to move to that next place, or whatever we believe will help us in accomplishing our task or our mission or whatever we're here to do. That's what's going to take us to the next level. And it can be anything. It could be a crayon or a pen or a rock that you find outside. It doesn't matter. Whatever gives you the power is what you need to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Robin, I'm going to ask one more question. I'm going to let you ask some questions, and then we're going to end. But I want to ask you one thing. Was, as a medium, have you ever came in contact with group consciousness, a group of consciousness, instead of just a single being?
I have. So in my work as a medium, no. Usually when I connect, I'll connect with I can connect with an individual person that wants to connect with the person I'm sitting with. Sometimes there's multiple members of a family that come in. I always tell people, if someone is in the waiting room that wants to connect with you, they will step forward. That's how I visualize it. It's literally a waiting room, because I think that anybody can understand that and kind of accept that concept. So if I'm sitting with someone who's never been to a medium before and I've referenced the waiting room, they can visualize that. Everybody has had that experience in their life. In my own personal, when I go on journeys myself, I will connect with the Angelic Council of Light, which to me is a round table of a bunch of angels. That's how I see it. that sometimes will dispense information if I have questions, if I'm curious about something, or if I want to learn a little bit more, or if I'm struggling in my own little world, in my own humanness or my own personal journey. Those are the people that I will ask, or the beings.
Yeah.
To me, I see them as angels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And I had this theory that I feel like the spiritual, the energy of spirit and all this stuff, I feel like it would show itself to a person, whatever way that they would best feel most comfortable. So like, say if it's for certain people, even when they see Jesus, and then certain people see Allah or Muhammad, and, praise be, whatever. And I just find it absolutely amazing that spirit does that for us. It not plays on, but it goes for something that it's relevant to us, that we would know, so that we would feel comfortable in that aspect. And I find that absolutely awesome.
I think part of you is understanding too that this is not, it's you, it's your consciousness that's connecting with whoever it is that's on the other side, whoever's at home, back at home base, or however you visualize that. But it's the thing that you're able to find that brings peace to your soul, or that brings connection to you, whatever it is. It can be a purple dinosaur, it could be Barney, or it could be a Christmas tree. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. The thing that gives you peace and that helps you find whatever it is you're looking for, that's what matters. That's the most important part.
Absolutely. Well, I would love to have you on again, because there's so much more questions that I have. But Robin, please.
Hours on end.
Too much. There's so much. I didn't even get into half the stuff I wanted to get into, but the hour went by so quick. But Robin, go ahead and ask some things real quick before we end.
I'm pretty much asked out. Really, you've asked a lot of the stuff that I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I know, but this is what you do to me. You see, I have all these questions ready to ask, and then you just go boom, and then it's like,
I ask them all.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how energetically connected we are. See, I just know the questions and I steal them. I love it.
No, it's just energetically how annoying you are.
Yeah, there we go.
You're mirroring each other.
See him.
Well, it's the law of attraction at its finest, right? So you're connecting to each other because you know each other very well, and this is something that you do. This is your podcast, so you probably
unfortunately yes.
But you're helping people. You're educating them. You're bringing people on that can give them maybe a little piece of what they were looking for. There might be a little piece of the puzzle that just kind of fell in through a conversation or an interaction or whatnot. And for me, I'm all about the law of attraction. Whatever it is that you put out there is what you're going to get back every single time. We could debate that for the next 3 days, and you couldn't convince me otherwise. But that's what this is all about. In anything that you're walking around with, when you see someone out there in the world that's berating someone or hooting and hollering at someone or is in that like angry fight mode, it's because they have their own unhealed stuff that they're projecting on the world. So rather than working on my own stuff, I'm going to plant it on top of you and start telling you I don't like you wearing your hat backwards, right? And you're going to be like,
see, you're not allowed to wear your hat backwards, AJ.
He says it all the time. All the time. I don't know how you pick up on that. I'll take it off. Jeez.
It was the point. It was the point where it shouldn't matter to you. It'd be like if I said to you, AJ, I don't like people that have dark hair. What are you going to go out and dye your hair? You're like, no, tough, too bad. Go do something else, right? Because that's how people present themselves out there in the world, especially if they have stuff that they don't want to fix, stuff that they don't want to heal, stuff they don't want to do. Then that's what they're going to do. Is they're going to find a reason to pick on you. So.
I absolutely agree. And I tell you,
even Anthony Ceballos is telling you about your hat.
I know, everybody says it, man. Everybody just leave the hat, but my hair is always just messed up. So I'm just like, screw it,
You just don't listen, do you?
No, I don't. I never do.
But,
can you just shut up for now? I'm sorry. Anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and spending time with us.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. I'm glad you had fun. Hopefully you can come on again, and I would love to have you on again. I know we both would. So please, if you're available, we'd love to set something up and have you come back on, definitely. And
absolutely.
Maybe do some different stuff, maybe do a reading or something, quick one, like a small, give us a glimpse or whatever. But I would love to see, I'd love to see more of your work, and I look forward to seeing you down at the store. So thank you so much. I really appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna make sure he's not wearing his hat at the store either.
Yes. Yes.
That's all good. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Bye.
Thank you. See you there. She had you there.
I love it. I love it because every time we bring on a guest, it's so funny because by the end of the show, like we have them laughing, and that's all that matters, because we're just goofs. We're just total goofs, man. Like we are.
Go and speak for yourself. Why don't you?
Yeah, speak for myself. I was just about to say that. Huh? Yep. No, but I love it. I tell you what, that was absolutely awesome. I tell you what, did you learn some things about the crystals and stuff, though, man?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because I've often wondered about. I've never really looked into them that much, but I've often wondered about them. But
yeah,
there's these little shops over here. They're starting to pop up here and there, but they're not readily, they're not dotted around every corner and stuff like that. So it's really hard to find sometimes. But it's quite interesting to find out a lot of info on that. So.
Well, I got very lucky. Like I said, this place is literally, the Borrowed Time Emporium, the Red Barn. It's right next to my house, man. Like literally, like 3 houses down, and it's just so awesome to see, a business like that, a group of people getting together for a spiritual aspect and helping others. And it was just, it's absolutely awesome. And even Anthony just said he has his own. They have their own crystal store and stuff like that, which I think that is awesome. Crystals are a great thing. Crystals are absolutely a great thing, and they're healing. There are a bunch of things that that Jennifer shared with us that they do for you, and it's absolutely great. But I look forward to having her on again because there's so much more that I want to ask her. But you know what, man? What are you gonna say? Because we're gonna end right now.
No, see right below your head, right on the screen. There's that little body on the outer screen, and then your head on top of.
Look at there we go. Oh wait, hold on. There it is. Look at. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. My name is AJ Capasso. This has been Talking with the Source. We're a bunch of goofs. Don't mind us. Please visit us on all podcast listening platforms and social medias. Once again, this has only been on Talking with the Source. Talk to you guys soon.
See you there.
Bye.